Hey, Guns and Games here. Back with another video, this time covering another gun that I purchased off of AtlanticFirearms.com. This one being the final video, I guess, in a triumvirate of videos covering the Battlefield pickup line that they offer. This one being their Battlefield pickup of a Romanian AKM-S, essentially. So let's get right into it. This gun I got off their website, of course, for $649.99. This is one of two guns they offer like this. There is also the non-Battlefield pickup version for, I believe that one's $749.99. So it's the same gun, but the parts kit and everything is actually refinished properly instead of being left how it is when it comes over here with all of its wear that it received in service. So it's $100 more to get, the nice shiny new looking one. So you get it at a bit of a discount. So that's how much I paid for it. It came with an original surplus magazine. I think this is the one it actually came with. I'm not sure. I've got like a dozen surplus magazines, and they've kind of all been tossed around. It came with that. It came with, as usual, the typical Atlantic Firearms AK manual. So, and it came with the same sort of briefcase, duffel bag thing that the AIM 74 one came with. So you open it up. There it is. It's alright. It's got a mag pouch. You can put 3 magazines in it. Not bad. Nice travel bag. Or, something to store stuff, store guns in. That's about all it came with. The sling I've got on it right now is a original Soviet or Russian surplus sling. So that did not come with it. It was not offered with any sort of shooter's package or anything like the AIM 74 was. Nothing really specific with it. So $649.99 plus shipping and transfer fee. So not incredibly expensive. About as expensive as a Wasser. Actually, a little bit more cheap than a Wasser, and it's as good, I would say, if not better. If not better aesthetically, basically. Going into the actual features of the gun, this is, of course, like I said, a Romanian one. This is a parts kit off of what would have been a PM MD65, or it goes by 2 names. There's also, I've seen it been called the 63-65. Either one's correct. This is the Romanian copy, basically a copy of the AKM-S. So this is, of course, a stamped AK. It differs really in only 2 regards from a standard Soviet one. One is obviously the furniture. It has the somewhat iconic, maybe a little bit notorious foregrip known as the wooden dong, the donkey dong, the donkey dick, something like that. Foregrip. This one is slanted sort of backwards and down, which is kind of unique to this specific gun, the 65. The full stock version, the 63, is actually slanted forward, much like on the AIM 74, their AK-74 version. Same thing, it was slanted forward. This is slanted backward. I find this one to be a bit more comfortable to use than the forward slanted one, honestly. The other difference is the underfolder stock. They actually stuck with the milled stock that was on the original milled AK-47. And when the AKM was introduced, it also not only featured a stamped receiver, but it also had a stamped underfolder stock as well. So it was stamped, it was thinner, but it was also reinforced with ribs to make up the difference. This is just a solid piece of thick steel. So the Romanians actually decided to stick with the milled underfolder stock on their stamped AKs. Not sure why. The stamped model is not any weaker structurally or anything, and it's cheaper to make. Was really no good reason to stick with it, but that's what they did. Also, there's no locking knob on the other side. It actually just cams into this side over here, so it's actually, in that regard, as far as a locking goes, is actually weaker technically. So you can actually damage the actual locking system in here easier in the milled system, but the actual structural stock, I guess, is maybe a little bit stronger. Won't bend or break maybe quite as easily. Other than that, that's it. This gun is identical to a standard Soviet AKM. So that's really about it. This gun is not 100% original. I did modify it a little bit. The sugar scoop muzzle device is different. This one came with a actual Tapco American-made brand new sugar scoop. I threw an original surplus Romanian one on it. I'm a little bit of a stickler for authenticity and originality, so it bothered me and I had to go, buy one. I got it off of Apex Parts for $8. Looks a little bit more authentic. It's actually worn, has a little bit of finish wear. Matches the gun a little bit better. So, that's the only modification I did to it. This, like some of the, like most typical parts kits, features an American barrel and an American receiver. And it did have an American muzzle device, but I switched that, obviously. It is, like the other two videos in my series here, it is, the magazine's kind of getting in the way, but it is a Morrissey receiver, like the other two. That has not changed. So, and it also has a Tapco trigger group, unlike the other two. I don't know if they kind of just randomly throw trigger groups in these or not, but mine's a Tapco. It's a Tapco G2 trigger group. But they did polish it. I'll actually show you that. They actually polished the hump on it, so it does not actually kind of resist the bolt carrier group, and it doesn't get hung up in the back like those tend to do. So that's actually pretty nice. That's about it. Feature-wise, it's no different than any other typical AK, really. I'll actually unfold the stock for you. So let me put you down. There we go. I'll just kind of give you a little bit of a better look. Don't know how well I'm in frame here, but there's your stock. There is a little bit of play up and down back here. That's kind of typical on like a milled stock. There will be a little bit of play because there's only one locking lug. So it's not on both sides. So there will be a little bit of play sometimes. Nothing drastic. Action, extremely smooth. Let me get that better in camera. So smooth, and like I demonstrate, it's a Tapco, but it does not, want to stick in the rear. It will not, lock open in the rear like those do sometimes. It is a typical Tapco trigger group, so trigger pull's pretty nice. It is a very nice trigger pull. No creep really at all, no mush, crisp break, light trigger. They are good triggers. It's just that kind of annoyance with the resistance, and they kind of can damage or they more severely mushroom your bolt tail. So, but it was polished, so it's not going to do any of that. So that's really good. I'm really actually surprised Atlantic went through the bother to do that for you. That's actually really nice of them to do that. So, there it is, fully unfurled in all its glory. My experiences with the gun, my personal experience with this model, this specific gun, I like it. You know, it's classic looking. I love the look, the wood, and everything. It functions great, shoots fine. There was a little bit of a quirk. The mag release, the mag catch mag release. Either was the actual plate, so the actual plate was either a little too long or it was not seated just a little bit off inside. So obviously when I first got the gun, I could not get the magazine out. It was locked in there, you know, tight, so I had to mallet the magazine out, and then I had to get a file, and I had to file the plate down very slightly. It took me a couple of minutes. That was about it, and I got it down. It's still a little stiff, you know, these mags, it's not the smoothest, but it's pretty smooth now, and there's no mag wobble. You know, I was pretty careful not to. There's a little bit of forward and back, but not enough to inhibit function in any way. This one has a little bit of side wobble, but receiver's tight enough. It functions fine. I'm happy. But that, you know, that's not correct. It's not supposed to be like that. So there was a little bit of a mistake, but it was correctable. It took me like 3 minutes to fix it. So not a huge deal. But that's about it as far as kind of problems I've had with it. I would say it's actually not quite 100% straight, though. There is maybe a little bit of cant. I would say it's very slight, but it's pretty much straight. There is a little slight minimal amount of rear sight block cant. Just a little bit. It doesn't affect accuracy really at all, and it's not even really noticeable unless you really look at it. So that's fine. That happens and is expected. So it's not really an issue. But everything else is great, and those aren't really problems. You know, that's not really an issue. And the mag catch thing was fixable pretty easily. And then I'll actually show you inside. I can obviously not gonna be able to do that with one hand. I tried. It is all matching, by the way. This is an all matching parts kit. Dated 1969. It's a 1969 dated parts kit. So, I don't know why I took the bulk carrier group out exactly, but I didn't really need to. Let me grab you. We will see, and as you can see, they polished the entire surface of the hump. So it's nice and white and shiny. So they polished that really good so it does not resist the bolt carrier group. So that's nice. So it's a very, very smooth gun. And they did it just enough so obviously it doesn't cause problems. So again, I cannot, you know, thank them enough for doing that, because that's always something, you know, if I ever had a Tapco Trigger group, I would want to do, and they did it for me, which is just great. And then, you know, it didn't cost. Maybe they factored that into the cost of the gun when in sale. Maybe, I'm not sure, but nice of them. I'll show you the side serial. 1969. Like I said, an all matching parts kit. These guns were manufactured from 1965 all the way through basically until about 86, when the PA MD86, their version of the 74, AK-74, replaced it. So I've got a couple other mags to show you. I'll put the 40 in it, I guess. Put one of my 40s in it. Pretty nice. I'm going to sit you back up. I'll put the gun back together. Did that one pretty quick. So there it is with the 40. Pretty nice. Not bad at all. There it is with the 40. But overall, I'm satisfied. No complaints. Fairly cheap nowadays as far as AKs go. $650 is not bad at all. Not bad at all. So on top of that, I'll also just show you the bayonet I got for it. This is a proper Romanian Type 2 bayonet. Scabbard, bayonet, and leather frog keeper. So, don't know if I can get the scabbard off with one hand. Tuck it between my armpit. There it is. Not bad. It was, I think, $30. It was a $30 bayonet, which is about what they're worth. So, see if I can put it on. Nope. Let me sit you back down. These things can occasionally be a little finicky. There we go. They can be a little tricky, but yeah, there we go. Not bad. Pretty sharp. This bayonet's actually a little bit sharp, interestingly enough. It's not like 100% dull quite. It's got a little bit of serration left. But yeah, that looks pretty good. That's it with the 40. Let me get the stuff out of the way there. But yeah, there you go. And I think at last I'll attempt to put the drum in it. The drum can be a little stiff. Sorry for putting you down so much. But that actually went in pretty easily that time. It can sometimes fight you, but I think I can kind of sit it up. But I'll get down here with it. So that's what it looks like with a proper Romanian surplus 75 round drum. Got a lot of firepower in a pretty compact package there when you do that. But overall, I like the gun. I would give it, 8, 9 out of 10. I'm pretty satisfied with it for $649.99. You're getting a pretty good quality gun on a good receiver. Barrels, it's an American one. It's chrome mollied, not chrome lined. Not a huge deal. Again, I don't plan on shooting this thing religiously or, shooting thousands of rounds through it a month. I don't plan on, fighting in a war or anything with it. I'm not going to, abuse the gun, basically. So not a huge deal. But, these things did historically have chrome lined barrels. So, but, it is what it is. Chrome molly is okay, I guess. But, well, that's about all I have. That's really about it. I would recommend you buy one. They're not in stock right now, though, sadly. I got this gun several months ago, and they went out of stock shortly after I bought it. And they've not been in stock since, so I don't know when they'll ever get them back in stock. I basically had to choose between buying this one and buying the full stock one, and I thought this one was a little cooler because I actually had a full stock one at the time. So, and the full stock one's has been out of stock too for about the same time. Whenever they decide to get that one back in stock, I'll probably pick it up and review it. But that review will probably be exactly the same as this one. The only difference is the stock. So that review will be basically identical. And it'll probably be much shorter than this one. But that about wraps it up. I'd recommend you buy it when you get it back, and when they decide to get it back in stock. The non-BFP one, the non-BFPU one, I don't know if that one's in stock or not. I don't really check it. But you might want to look at it if you're interested. You can kind of then BFPU it yourself by abusing it or running, vinegar and steel wool on it, I guess. Or then you could swap the furniture. But that's going to wrap it up. I'd recommend you buy it. If you are interested, I'd recommend picking it up. 8 or 9 out of 10. Overall, pretty satisfied. So that's going to be about it. I will be reviewing some other stuff soon. Probably going to be doing a lot of handgun reviews next. So stay tuned for that. Thanks for watching, and I will catch you in the next one.